The auroral diamond is glowing with a crimson light. It's the color of the dusk sky. It's thick and rich and ominous. Hello, everyone. I'm Lauren Urban. I am here as your DM for Radiant Stories, a 12-episode series where a bunch of us are going to be playing through some bits and pieces of the awesome journeys through the Radiant Citadel. Now that I've had a chance to get us started, let our wonderful players introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, I'm Alicia Marie Body on socials. I'm a professional costume artist and improv performing artist. And tonight, as always, for Radiant Stories, I am playing Ravana Cricket Wise, and she's a wild hunt shifter philosophy cleric.
Hello, I am Jen Kretschmer. You can find me on Twitter as @DreamWisp and across streaming platforms as DreamWispJen. Today, I will be playing Wisteria, your friendly neighborhood College of Creation bard with the flowers.
Hi, I'm Kelly, the Opera Geek. You can find me at the Opera Geek pretty much everywhere, and I will be playing your mildly distractible, food-obsessed barbarian, Fire Genasi, Ustina.
And hello, I am Mario. I am a writer on this marvelous book that we are playing right now, and on many other things. And you can find me on the internet as Elwarius, and I'm gonna be playing Vind Cantor, who is a bit of a roguish character with some psychic abilities.
Who we're going to be meeting for the first time shortly. But first, I would like to thank Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms for the Electrum chess code and all of the wonderful people who are here in chat. And of course, we're going to take a second and thank Anansi's Tapestry of Lives. I believe we have a video.
In the beginning, the stories, they all belong to the sky god, but the people who lived them, they lamented. For the people of all the worlds, they hungered for their own stories, and I hungered. So I planned, and I was clever, much more clever than the sky god, and all who hung on the words. I hung them on the tricky threads of my mischief. Now they say all stories are Anansi's stories. That suits me. Yes, all stories are Anansi's. But on occasion, I share them with the people. Today, I share them with you in Anansi's Tapestry of Lives.
And welcome back. Let's play a D&D game, shall we? Usually, about this time, I would be leading my wonderful players through a recap of the last couple of episodes. And we're still going to do that, but we're going to do it slightly differently because first we have a new character to introduce, and that character needs a recap too. So we're going to begin in Thulsan's Tea. It is the morning after some of the events that have already happened. We can see that it's kind of empty in here. Thulsan themselves are puttering around a little bit. They're finishing putting a few things up on the cork board in the back, a few notices. There's something about an art retreat that's happening next week. There's a pretty big poster that the People's Players, a spectacular and joyful concert in the Royal Amphitheater. And as they're putting this up, they move out of the way of two figures who are seated in one of the back tables. There is a gnome, a very small gnome in colorful dress, has a long braid of black going down her back, and is leaned in very close with kind of a wry smile to the person across the table from her. Vint, would you go ahead and describe yourself, please?
Sure. Well, Vint is half orc, a heritage that is evident by pronounced canines and elongated ears, and a bluish gray, darker skin color that he basically. It varies across his body, so like it's not like a single shade of bluish gray. So he's definitely you can tell that there's definitely a mix of heritages going on with him. There is his eyes are gold, and he is wearing very fitted leather armor that it follows in the style of I mean, if you've been in the Citadel for a while, you kind of identify the style of every different culture that makes it. So this particular style follows more towards Sansitlan, and he is sitting very quietly across from Sarietta, thinking about something that she said. And while he thinks, there is a tattoo on the back of his neck. He has purple hair, and where the purple hair ends, the tattoo goes into his back, and you can see sort of the tattoo extend into his arms through the sleeveless armor that he's wearing. And as he's thinking, there's this faint sort of energy that seems to be rippling through the tattoo. And he is pondering, I suppose, upon something that Sarietta has mentioned. Sarietta has been someone that Vint has trusted for a while. So he would come to her to discuss his dreams, to discuss his various tribulations while dealing with these abilities and powers. So yeah, he's probably describing something that he has seen recently to her, and waiting for her response while he ponders himself what it could mean.
And there's a quiet moment as she lets you ponder for a second, but then the smile gets a little bigger and she leans in a little closer and says, "So you do feel it. You do feel that storm coming."
Yes. I don't know what it feels like. You mentioned a storm, but to me, it's more of I don't know, like an eerie calm, a silence. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm thinking of turning my boat into the waves, getting ready to ride out the storm. If you're still feeling the calm before it, you've got a little bit more time. Maybe you can make a few more adjustments as you need.
Oh, like what? Do you have any ideas? Any specific advice?
Nothing specific, but I'm pretty interested once you get back from wherever you're taking these adventurers to. I bet you this has something to do with it. There's no coincidences here on the Radiant Citadel. You know that.
The Court of Whispers is uneasy, to say the least. But no one dares to say anything. Everyone is just waiting.
That's because even those that aren't like you and me, they can feel it. It's like the keening gloom is a little closer or something. Everybody's a little more on edge, but you've got a job to do. And I have a feeling this is going to be the calm that you need. Gather yourself before that storm. Hopefully you come back soon, though. I will kind of miss you.
I will miss you too, Sarietta, but I will admit that I will miss your tea a little more. Drink.
Well, I get it from the best place in town. And you know what? With that, I think I'm going to go pick up some more and get out of your way. And you notice, as she says this, she's smiling over at Thulson and then has looked to the front door where 3 familiar figures have entered. Cricket, Justina, and Wisteria have basically just arrived all at the same time. As the 3 of you enter, you see this gnome that's been talking to Vint, who you are all familiar with, hop down from her chair, give him a friendly little wave, and go up to the counter to take care of an order of some sort. And as you move towards the back of this familiar tea shop, Vint, your friends, acquaintances, contractors have arrived.
I wave at them. I guess we maybe have crossed paths before. If you have ever needed the services of the Court of Whispers, I am one of their agents. This is me speaking outside of character, but yeah, I mean, you probably recognize Vint from that interaction if any of you have ever had it.
It is impossible to forget that tattoo.
Thank you, Cricket. Please have a seat.
Well, and Wisteria and Justina, I think we said that we know you from before. We had certainly met you before. I'm from the Citadel, so it might be that's how I know you. But we were specifically looking to find you. Hi.
Hi, please.
I don't remember where I know you from, but I know you. Pretty sure I know you. Do I know him?
He has a likable face. He has a likable face, so
right.
You don't look dangerous, but that's always usually the toughest ones. Am I right, Vint? And Cricket is sort of crunching on this, she has a plate in front of her, and it's like she's crunching on this snack, and she's gonna just offer it to you all. And she says, it's poha chirua. It's really healthy. It's a snack here. I got it from one of the recipe books from Wisteria's book club. It's pretty good. So if you do eat it, you get 1d8 plus 3 if you're missing health.
Delicious.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started munching on it a little bit, and I invite you to sit and say, I hear that you are investigating things on the Citadel. I heard about your plea for help. Is that correct? Did I get a message, Lauren, from?
You would have been contacted by Wisteria, who at this point, all you know is they're investigating something and need to go to God's Breath. And she knows that you are familiar with how to get there and a little bit of the area.
Okay, so in that case, I say, after inviting you to sit, I say, I got your message, which, it intrigues me as it would any other agent of the Court of Whispers, but I have to ask, why God's Breath?
Oh, well, you see, we were in the Preserve of the Ancients, and we were talking to a couple of the incarnates, and they gave us some information. The Jasper Contry was talking to us and said that we need to go to the town of Promise and find a proclaimer. And we know that Promise is in God's Breath, so it seemed that was the logical place to go to investigate.
Oh yes, Wisteria, you mentioned the name Tungsten or something like that.
That's the name of the proclaimer we're supposed to find, because they might know the Song of the Diamond, which is the information that we're supposed to get.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
I wanted to mention to you, Vint, I was not with my cohorts in the preserve because I was at the House of the Convalescent visiting with the 2 guards that were attacked. I don't know if you are aware of what happened at the warehouse already.
I heard.
Justina.
Did I not hear, Lauren?
No,
Okay.
you just know that you're helping out with an investigation. So
Okay.
this is all new to you. There's an attack
Okay.
somewhere? Oof.
Yeah, I that worries me because if something happened on the Citadel and the Court of Whispers doesn't know it, it's like, um, So you can see Vin sort of like that confident exterior fades a little bit, and there's a little bit of a worry that washes over him, and yeah, there's a moment where he says, "I had not heard about this," which either means that the Court of Whispers didn't know that they're keeping information from me, which is worrying. Do you think it's connected to whatever is happening in God's Breath?
Well, yes, there's a sort of a long thread of how that happened, but the creature was quoted in some silver shavings, some tungsten shavings, which is strange. And it turns out that the creature, after we went in and we talked to some of the incarnates, the creature's a marauder, but they're not supposed to be here because they normally hunt in packs.
Yeah, Vint is writing everything. It's like
It's okay.
literally
It's quite
taking
a
the-
lot.
Yeah.
One thing I did not get to mention, and Cricket sort of looks at Wisteria and Estina, and you too, Vint. I did go to the House of Convalescent to visit with the guards that were injured during the initial attack from the Marauder. There's only really one piece of information that the one guard that was left out. It's that normally that warehouse only has one guard at a time working. But the last week, there was suspicious activity going on around the whole area. And a few workers at the warehouse said they saw someone sneaking around and about the warehouse. So they doubled the patrols. That's why there were 2 guards on duty. And they were lucky because they said from what they saw, there is no way that only one person could have battled what they battled. But the strange thing that the guards said is that the creature was not the figure they saw sneaking around. The creature was not the only thing that maybe we should worry about. They said they saw a humanoid in a dark cloak with no features, but it was taller than the Marauder.
That is worrying. How reliable is this guard that you speak to?
Well, I mean, there are 2 guards that work for the Citadel in that particular warehouse, and they were both injured. They will survive, and I hope to make sure of that. But they were our only real eyewitnesses to what happened before it happened. It happened.
He probably
Estina.
don't have much cause to lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume, and I know the healers at the House of Convalescence, and they all do excellent work. So they must have been sound of mind when you spoke to them. Well, I will have to admit one thing: I have not been in God's Breath for quite a while, so I may not be the ideal guide that you are looking for. However, I am intrigued by your findings. And if I can be the first one to figure out why and how this is happening, I mean, that will probably be very good for me in the Court of Whispers. So, not that I don't want to help you, I do, but you know, getting something else in return also sounds very nice.
It's worrisome that you said that the court, you said you were sensing that the court is holding things back from you, or do they not usually fill you in on everything that's happening here?
Well, you usually, I mean, information is used as a currency, right? It's definitely a little bit of a web of intrigue that goes on there. But when you operate for many, many years, as I've been doing for them, we normally hear what goes on in those threads at least something, at least a word, a whisper, so to say. And this thing that you mentioned is completely, I haven't heard anything about it.
Hey,
The silence
Vint.
is worrying.
Hey, Vint, roll me an insight check.
Awesome. Let me see.
First
First
roll of the
roll.
night.
Yes.
First roll, yeah.
Ooh, I got a 20. 19 plus 1.
Nice. Dirty 20.
Dang.
As you're mulling out loud about your worry about not having heard anything, and you start to think about the whys. Why would you not have heard anything? And there's two possibilities that come to mind. One, perhaps because this just happened, maybe it just hasn't gotten to you yet. You think it's possible. You think unlikely, since this is such a rare event, someone actually getting attacked on the Citadel should be everywhere.
Yeah.
But it is possible. This just happened yesterday, and it is first thing the next morning. The other thing is sometimes information at the Court of Whispers is held very close to the chest for other reasons. And it takes a little bit longer to disseminate. And usually someone has convinced the people to stay quiet, probably for really important reasons. The last time you remember information not being spread amongst the entire court, it was information that actually would have been damaging to a lot of people. And so holding on to it for a little while, this might be people being cautious. Either way, that pit in your stomach is still there.
Yeah. I will add this to what I say. I will say either it's what I just mentioned, or there are some pretty big stakes on riding on whatever is causing this. Either someone powerful is involved, or fearing whatever this thing may be. It could also just be, that things haven't moved fast enough, but with something this big, I doubt it.
And Wisteria and Ustina, from what you found out, that Marauder just fell here and was not supposed to be here. Is that what you said you were told?
Well,
in the...
no, so they normally travel in packs, and this one, there was a storm maelstrom thing that was commanding them, taking control of them, and seemed to be tethered to it. We had to sort of cut that connection in order to get it free.
A storm, you say?
Mm-hmm. In the ethereal plane.
Oh, you mean the
We
King
took an
Room?
adventure there. It was
Wait,
very
into the
strange. You could
storm.
travel by cloud and things. It was
That I
wonderful,
missed it.
Whoa.
wonderful and bizarre, all at the same time.
I start trying to process all of this. Is this something completely out of the realm of what happens here, or is it does it sound familiar at all, Lauren?
I'll leave it up to Vint. You tell me how familiar, or you can just say how familiar Vint is with the ethereal plane in general, considering the Radiant Citadel is located here. It's kind of up to you what Vint would know.
Okay, so Vint has lived here for pretty much his whole life. Since he's been a child. So he has seen and heard about the Keen Gloom, right? But that is the one sort of ethereal storm that he knows, and that everything he knows about it is that if you go near it, or if it comes near you, you just die. So that is it. This is why all of this is shocking. So what you're saying is he's just wide-eyed, and I say, do you Did something take you into this storm?
Oh yes, we were talking to the incarnates.
Oh, so it was like a projection of sorts.
I suppose so.
I see.
They described the incarnate as looking like Jolo and Squeatley dog, rough sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, like big one,
And-
right? Justina, bigger than you?
Yeah, the cricket would have been getting an earful the entire way over here about the puppy and the fact that the puppy did not pay attention to Ustina, despite Ustina definitely
Aw.
wanting the puppy to pay attention to her. But you know, she's a lot more emotional in front of, you know, when dealing with animals and cricket than she is dealing with everybody else. And so yeah, just big dog, 10 feet, I think, 10 feet tall, 10 feet, 12 feet, very shiny.
I've heard
Extremely
about
shiny.
I've heard about the Chola Squintlet, but I have never had the pleasure of being in their presence.
Talks right into your
Um,
head,
They're
right
lovely.
into your head.
I don't.
And then they introduced us to the pecan tree.
The tree was not as interesting to me.
I love D&D so much.
Right.
Justina is
Uh,
very direct. This is why
Yeah.
we enjoy having her in our company, because she tells it like it is.
Was I not supposed to?
No, you did good. There's one thing
Yes.
that you said to me that stuck out, and I think we shouldn't tell Vint. Justina told me that both her and they, she points to Asteria, heard the words heed and obey.
Right.
Oh yeah, it was in Draconic though, so I didn't understand what they were saying.
No, BB told us.
Phoebe told us that was what they said.
Mhm. I just lit it on fire.
Eat and obey. Does
Heed and
does that
obey.
mean anything to me, Lauren? Does it ring any bells?
We were hoping it ring bells to you, because if we don't know why anybody would say something like that loud out, we feel like it may have some significance, or maybe not. Maybe they were just trying to be intimidating. I don't know. It was a storm talking, right? It was a storm
Yeah.
talking.
Something that looked like a storm. I think we should be very clear on that.
Okay.
And also it was coming from the memory of the Marauder, and so we don't know
Oh,
how reliable the memory is of the shape of the thing.
It could have just been something big and scary
Yeah.
to him. You know, you don't know. It's kind of like how dogs are afraid of thunderstorms. It's just saying.
But what we do know
Some
is
of them.
something has taken over as the alpha of the pack. And also that we have to go hear about the Song of the Diamond in Promise.
Now, does that ring any bells, Lauren?
Nothing specifically about the Song of the Diamond, but you're pretty positive they must be talking about one of the parts of the
One of the-
Awakening
yeah.
song. And you know, and once again, probably not a coincidence that that pit in your stomach gets a little bit larger. The festival's going on right now, so it would
Yeah.
actually be very easy to hear a lot of the Awakening song.
Yeah, well, if you're looking to hear about the Awakening song, there's no better time. The festival is happening at the moment, and I mean, if that is what you're looking for, then that is your best chance. Otherwise, you would be hunting for a griot, and that might take some time. Would you be comfortable with me, putting out some feelers for this storm being creature that you're describing? Just, hitting up some of my contacts and see if they can come up with something while we are away.
Probably not a bad idea. What
Vint-
kind of festival?
Vint, just to let you know that you're going to have to go grab one of the Concord jewels to get to God's Breath.
Yeah.
And along the way to the one that'll get you there, there's 3 or 4 people you could pull aside, give some information to get those feelers out there pretty quickly.
Okay. And in response to what kind of festival, I say, well, there's food, there's chanting, there is a lot of honestly,
what kind of food? And like, if we're walking while we're doing this,
Yes, let's
Christina
go.
is quite uncomfortably close to you because she does not understand personal space once she's talking to somebody.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what kind of food? What's your favorite food there? Have you ever had the food there? What do people eat?
I've never been since I was a child, but I do remember some very, very tasty seafood dishes. Very somewhat spicy. Many of them. Do you like spice?
Spice is good.
Spice is bad.
Well, I'm sure.
Christina, I thought you
A
liked
little
what I made
spice.
you.
A little spice. A little spice.
Oh,
Not like you
okay.
eat it.
Oh, but I made it because, I was trying to test your metal. That's all I was doing. I wasn't trying to poison you.
Why didn't you just punch me?
Oh. Okay. It's fine. Just a little spicy for Stina.
Okay.
Some person walking by at this moment just hears, why didn't you just punch me? And you watch as they startle a moment. And then they walk very quickly in the other direction.
I also, along the way, I will start describing how I remember the ribbon, which is, I will start saying like, it is this verdant fields that the people use for agriculture, and you can find there's all sorts of delicious vegetables grown there, all of them fresh. You could always find fresh produce in God's Breath, and that is I just start like gushing. This is kind of like how someone would be describing a childhood memory. So it is very sort of like rose tinted in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're having a hard time describing the tastes because especially when you were young, you gravitated towards all the sweet stuff. And so your fondest memories are all the desserts and all the sweet things, but
Right.
there's still some hearty foods there. And I assume as we're having this conversation, there's the walking and talking heading towards the Concord Jewel.
Yes.
Yes, I will do that. As I mentioned, if I can hit up a contact or two along the way. I don't know if that's a role or if it can be something in the background or.
Right now, it's just something that happens because, you're part of the Court of Whispers. You know the right people to give a nod to. You know the right people to talk to. You can easily say, give me a moment and relay whatever information you want. And hopefully by the time you get back from whatever this excursion is going to be, you'll have some answers. Out of curiosity, what's the main question you would like to find out?
I would like to figure out if anyone has heard about ethereal storms, getting either worse or changing or reaching out to people like that. Basically, any changes that have happened or weird things surrounding the Keen and Gloom, particularly, or any other ethereal storms.
Absolutely. You know that your contacts, at least with the Keen and Gloom, that giant storm that circles the Radiant Citadel. There's a lot of information out there. People have been looking at that for a while. So you should be able to at least get some up-to-date information on what the latest science is behind the Keen and Gloom. All right.
Perfect.
And unless there's anything else you'd like to do on the Radiant Citadel, are we hopping on board a Concord Jewel and taking a flight?
Yes. I need to get out more. I never leave the Citadel. This is one of the first in a long time for me. So I'm excited about this excursion, even though we might get killed. Thank you.
I'd just like to get a message to Edity that I'm going to be going away for a bit. And that if they can take care of the house and run book club while I'm away, I'll be back soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's my world, we can make things easy, and your house is on the way to the Concord Jewel. And so as Vint actually says, give me a minute, and goes in one direction, and you say, give me a minute, and go into your house. And then 2 minutes later, the two of you come out and move forward towards the
as I come out, you see a small Myconid waving out of the door.
And Ustina would be looking at Cricket after what Cricket just said. Have I ever let you die before? Why are you saying that we're going to die? I don't understand. Why would you think we were going to get hurt?
Forgive me. I speak out of turn. My friend.
Just stand behind me.
Can I climb on your back again?
I guess.
She's gonna climb on Ustina's back.
Yeah,
and that
so we got the piggyback going on.
I love it. And that is exactly how, when you show up at the Jasper Concord Jewel to get on board and go to God's Breath. Yeah, it's 2 people and 1 person on piggyback and someone being carried. I'll leave it up to you, to each of the 4 of you, if you've ever taken a ride on one of the Concord Jewels before. Some of you may have, some of you may not, but these are massive building-sized pieces of crystal that some of them, when you enter, there's an employee from the Citadel who is there to pilot and kind of welcome everybody and keep everything orderly. They help you to one of the levels that has seating. Some of the levels are open spaces for distributing goods. You know, a lot of the stuff that comes to and leaves from the Radiant Citadel also use these jewels. You also know that they only really go one other place. They can float out into the ethereal plane, and they can on over to one of the founding civilizations. In this case, God's Breath. So you all get on the next Concord Jewel flight to God's Breath. It's a very smooth, as it closes and starts to pull away from the Radiant Citadel, and you're watching this flight happen. It's very smooth. If you weren't able to kind of look through the front of this glass that is come down in front of you, you almost wouldn't know you're moving. And you get further and further away and further away, and it's gorgeous. You're seeing the entire Radiant Citadel, some of you maybe for the first time, in whole from a distance. The auroral diamond, despite the fact that the color right now is kind of a dark red, it still glows amongst the surrounding etherealness, which is just this nothingness. The rings of civilizations around it with trees and people and all this amazing stuff, and very far in the distance, and maybe it's a trick of the light, because, you know, the auroral diamond is red right now, so it's given a little weird light, but it's almost as though there's a swirling mass. And you all know that somewhere around the Citadel is always this storm, this keening gloom is forever there. But one of the good things about these Concord Jewels is they always avoid the keening gloom. So just as you're noticing it off to the side, plane shift happens. And there's a moment as you feel yourself shifted into another part of the universe. And then it begins to descend. Once again, if you weren't watching out the front, it would be such a smooth descent that you wouldn't even think you were moving. And the jewel comes to rest. Vint, what you recognize is actually just outside of Promise. Promise would be one of the larger cities that the Concord Jewels would be able to go to. You can pretty much tell a lot of the people who are traveling here right now are going for the festival, which makes a lot of sense. So first stop, Promise. and you have all landed. As you get off of this giant building-sized spaceship of some sort, you can see the area around you is very green and alive, kind of in the same way that Vint was talking about, lots of trees. And it's this calm area on a paved street leading up to a fantastically large city with banners and signs and flags. And was that a balloon? The whole city is decked out in color. The streets are lined with people who are singing and dancing. There's bands everywhere playing a cacophony of different types of music, but it seems like wherever you go, the people that are there with that band kind of enjoying that one bit of music, they know exactly what the song is. And there always seems to be a moment where they all just respond, kind of a call and answer immediately. And you're walking down the street and there's this raucous brass band and everyone is singing about this amazing time that that people rescued a group of people who had been trapped in a mine. And a little bit further down the way, you pass by a bunch of these 2 to 3 story buildings that are just windows open, flags flying. Some people have actually put rugs and tapestries out that are intricately woven. And you think if you had the time, you could stop and read a whole story on those. But then you're passing by a string quartet and a singer who is now it's a much more mournful part of this song. And the people who are responding, it's a bit slower. There's a little bit more of a sway to this as they're talking about a season that a bad harvest happened and that a bunch of people had to come together to make sure that there was enough to get through the hard times. And amongst all of this music, you do also see stalls with food and drink. There are people running around, especially lots of kids running around with, they got a sweet thing. And they're happy. They're maybe a bit too happy on sugar, but they're running and they're having fun. Some people are selling these dolls that are, as you get closer, you find that people are actually making them in front of others, that there's like a line of people who are all describing what they want. And the crafter who is making these are customizing the dolls to look like the person in shirts and dresses and, maybe a little hat. And it seems to be one of the things that is popular amongst this festival.
Oh, that's very cool.
And can we get an Ustina doll?
Would you like?
Yes. Can we walk
I'd like to get an Edity doll if I can.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You go walking up.
Cricket's mascot.
Yeah, you stop by one of, there seems to be a lot of crafters who are all making kind of their versions of this doll. They all have a particular style. This one very, very old, weathered gentleman, with a big smile on his face. He's got a lot of what look like heavy leathers on, almost as though he's usually working in like a leatherworks factory or he's a tannery or something. And all of his dolls have what is surprisingly just amazing stitch work on a shirt or on a pair of pants or on shoes or something that is completely evocative of the person who's asking about it. And so while the straw dolls are very simplistic, it's what he's creating. Cricket, you said you wanted an Ustina doll?
I'm going to surprise her with it.
All right, she's getting a doll. I'm chasing a child down the street, asking them where they got their candy.
Give me that corn dog.
I got street corn.
This is such a good corn dog. Are you following me? As she's running around, so the dolls are 5 copper pieces, and it takes a couple of minutes. Cricket, you get one of Ustina. That tell me, what are the distinguishing features on the doll that you ask for?
First of all, it's really cute, but it has a really big head to make it look even cuter. It has distinct stitches.
It's a chibi Justina.
I'm a Funko Pop, yeah.
I can make the eyes bigger. Hold on a moment. Hold on. I got you.
And then, make sure you put where her scars are. Those are very important to her because they tell her story. She will probably eat me for lunch if I don't add the scars to the doll. So add the scars. Also, most important, can you fashion a giant sword that makes no sense, but it makes sense to the doll?
Absolutely.
You're not wrong.
Most of the stuff I have is related to farming implements, but give me a moment. And he's turned what obviously was a pre-made, what looks like a shovel. He turns around and you see him ripping a couple of stitches and a piece of leather comes out, and he's working for a moment, and he turns around. And it's not exactly Ustina's sword, but it is a giant sword that he attaches to the doll's back.
You are very talented. You are worth the copper pieces. And she hands them to him, and she takes the doll and she's smiling at it, and she looks over at Wisteria and shows it to Wisteria. What do you think?
Oh, that's amazing.
That is very kind of you. Please enjoy the festival. And yes, you said you wanted
I basically just describe. Oh, it's not gonna show up.
Cute.
You basically just describe a
Myconid with the big hat and also just holding a bunch of books with like a teapot and teacup on the very top.
This
cute.
gentleman kind of looks over some of the basic dolls that are the base for the things that he is customizing, and you give the description of this Myconid, and he thinks for a little bit, and it's weird. For a moment, he grabs one of the dolls, and you watch as he just rips it in half, like with a really quick motion. And in that moment, you see his arms flex, and oh yeah, this may be an older gentleman, but this is someone who's been working on leather for a while. Just right in half, puts the half down, grabs some more straw and says, "Oh, just a moment." And about the time that Ustina is coming back with Vint and a corn dog, he has taken what was a humanoid-sized doll and made it a bit shorter, added the cap onto it. It's a bit of a darker red, but it is a red piece of leather. And you don't know how he made the teapot. You looked away for a second and come back, and there's a little teapot there. He hands it on over.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Enjoy the awakening.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Oh, my name was Tom.
Tom,
It's very
it was
nice
so
to
lovely
meet you.
to meet you.
Oh, it's lovely. We don't get very many people from outside of Promise, so it's always a pleasure to be able to share my craft with those who are from obviously somewhere else. But I hope you enjoy.
The festival is amazing.
Wisteria.
Do you hit what?
Cricket's gonna just interject and lean over and whisper in Wisteria. Should we ask him if he's seen anything weird around here, or just keep it moving? What do you think?
Oh, I was just going to ask about the person we're supposed to be finding.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
But if you want to ask, you can ask. This is my friend Cricket.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Want to ask your questions?
Sure. Can I help with something?
Being here, in the land of promise, have you heard any songs? Anything that sounds like a song of a diamond?
And the gentleman thinks for a moment, and you actually hear him hum under his breath, almost like he's humming a couple of different tunes, like mentally going through a catalog in his mind. Nothing I know offhand, but I will admit I'm not the best when it comes to remembering most of the songs. I need more prompting than others when the call and answer starts. You know, you get a little older and some of the melodies just fade. But if you find a proclaimer, and he straightens up a little bit and seems to be looking around for someone in specific, something, and looks back at you and says, one of the proclaimers would definitely be able to help you. There's many of them here today.
Do you happen to know if there's a proclaimer named Tungsten?
I'm going to make a quick roll for Tom. Just a second. Not offhand, but it's been a while since I've seen one of them. They're very distinct. They've got a uniform type attire. They're all pretty friendly. If you find one, I'm sure they would know about someone else named Tungsten. Isn't that a type of metal?
Yes, but well, my name is also a type of flower. So
my name is a bug.
Sometimes named after things.
I'm named after my father, so I guess we are all in a way named after something we care about.
And Wisteria's gonna reach into their pouch and pull out almost it's a sprig of rosemary, but it's tied with a really nice bow. So it's almost like a little arrangement. And then there's a lily tucked into it, and they're gonna hand it to Tom and say, "I thank you again so much for the beautiful dolls, and this is for memory. It's supposed to be good for memory. So hopefully it helps you remember the words for the song."
That's very kind. I could definitely use the help. Excuse me, I'll go find something to put this in. And he moves away. And Vint, at this point, if you've been enjoying the festival a little bit and come back, you find the three of them and two dolls and Ustina.
Oh no, Ustina comes up behind Vint.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Vint. And she holds out, she is chowing down on basically what looks like corn with spices on it. Ooh. And she sticks and hands one out to him. Yeah.
I smile and I say, I see you found the fusion foods. Do you like it? I start like chomping that
She's just eating the corn on the cob like the cartoonish way, you know, just straight down.
I say, yeah.
I'm just gonna say it's delicious. That's
I've never had any. Her mouth is mostly full. I've never had anything like it.
Well, Promise is a big enough city. You can probably find all sorts of mixes, and like I said, vegetables here are very prominent. So whatever you can think of with a vegetable and spice, it's
and
probably
I bought
out
these.
there,
I did not steal them from a child.
Christina. Tell me you did not take the. You know what? I'm not going to ask. I'd rather not know.
I just said I bought them.
Vint,
from a child.
As you are talking to Ustina and thinking about all the wonderful vegetables and being a small child running around with sweets, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. Ooh, very well. No, never mind. I was gonna say I'm very good at those, but I'm not very good. I'm just good.
Just okay. Good.
A 7. I'm not great.
So you're looking around as you're describing again the fresh vegetables and the amazing foods. And true, this festival is a bounty of food. Don't see as many vegetables as you'd expect, especially some of the more hearty meals. This festival, one of the, besides the singing and the awakening song, one of the other main reasons people come is they get a chance to try a whole bunch of food. And it's because singing, takes a lot of energy. Playing music takes a lot of energy. Dancing takes a lot of energy. And so you need rich, hearty food. And a lot of the foods that you remember are either not here or they're a little lacking in the greenery department.
This manifests as Vin kind of like taking a bite of the elote and kind of like staring at it for a moment and being like, just looking around. And he says, have you seen stalls of vegetable vendors?
We did see stalls, right? There were some stalls around.
Lots of stalls.
Yeah.
I was the one hunting for food. So did I see any stalls with vegetables?
I'll let the three of you give me some perception checks.
Oh boy.
You weren't necessarily looking for anything in specific, but we can do kind of a memory perception check. What do you remember seeing?
14. I roll high when it comes to food. When it comes to it.
I rolled a natural 1. So
19.
the reason I missed where the stalls were was I was so excited with my editing doll and I was affixing them to my shoulder. So that they just kind of were there with me visiting the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And that just took all of my attention. So,
and Cricket, how about you?
I did get a 19. Only because she wears, she's lycanthrope. So her eyes, she's always, looking at her surroundings, usually, especially if Ustina's not around. She makes sure to take extra special care to look around her, be more aware.
Absolutely. All right. So Vint, you say this. Ustina, you think about the run you had for to catch up with the child to find out where they got the corn dog, which once you caught up with them, they were very happy to lead you to the stall and you got yourself some amazing food. You weren't looking for anything other than the corn dog. You don't remember anything other than the corn dog. But you can take a look around now. Wisteria, yeah, the stall is adorable. The stall is so cute. Cricket, you not only think about the walk into Promise and the smells and the sights and everything, but you actually even kind of take a little bit of a whiff now to see all of the different foods that are in the air. And it does seem like everything is a little more meat-based maybe, or there's not a lot, but something else catches your attention as you're glancing around and it smells wonderful. You might not be seeing a lot of vegetables, but the foods that you are smelling are amazing. And you hear music off to both sides. There's what sounds like this amazing chanting coming from the left, and from the right is that brass band still having a raucous time. You hear the brass band falter in a way that is so obvious that whether or not you are a musician, something happened. They stopped. They actually stopped playing. You can hear some of the people who are doing the call and response for the song that they're singing also falter. And then you hear yelling, and then you hear screaming.
I alone hear this?
At the moment, because you're kind of doing the check, you hear it first.
Okay. As soon as she hears like the first, like something's odd, if you could see her, like her eyes, the yellow that is her eyes sort of look a little bit more wolf-like. And she squints and it's almost like a flash across her very wolf-like visage comes over her face a little bit. And she stops and looks in one direction and she cocks her head, almost doggy-like, cocks her head. And she's going to reach over and touch like Wisteria's shoulder. There's something happening.
It's a festival.
No. I hear screaming. There's something wrong with the music. There is something happening. Listina, give me that corn dog. And she tosses it over her shoulder.
And now the Cricket has pointed it out. All of you take a moment and there's something not good is going on just down the road, just down the pavement.
Let's go. And like Cricket's just gonna literally like start running toward like where she hears the sound without even thinking. She's just gonna head toward it.
Yeah. Vint immediately kind of like reaches into his armor and pulls out a kind of like a silver symbol of that he carries as a necklace. So he just like reveals it, and it's kind of like this butterfly shaped how do you call it, like I guess a symbol, a jewelry piece that has a skull carved in the wings of the butterfly. And he just like says a small prayer and starts running after Cricket, but his instincts are just like, he's gonna try to be to the side and try to be careful about approaching this.
Sure thing. Cricket and Justina kind of do a beeline. Vint, you head in that direction, but a little bit off to the right. Wisteria, what are you doing?
I'd also like to follow. If
Okay.
there's trouble, there might be people who need help.
All right. You, Justina, and Cricket are going straight through the crowd. The people around you are now starting to notice that something has gone wrong over there. This is a little weird. And it only takes a few seconds of weaving your way through the revelers to get to people who are now panicked, who are now running in the other direction. And you break through the crowd that has started to flee from this area. And what you find is on the street, just in front of where this brass band was, but you've gotten there just in time to see that they have picked up their instruments and they are running down a side street away from 4 people. And when you first look at them, they just seem like regular, normal people, nothing very odd about them. They are wearing what looks like dirty farmers' clothing. And while there's lots of people here at the festival in a variety of outfits, some literally maybe having come from whatever they were doing for work to the festival, they seem especially ragged. 2 of them are even barefoot. And as you break through the crowd, you see all 4 of them turn to you, their eyes blank. There's no thought behind them. And all 4 of them, right across the top of their chest, almost to the neck, like a muddy red handprint just splashed across the front of their skin. And all of them are holding rusty, dangerous farming implements. And while they don't move with a lot of speed or grace or even purpose, they move with enough intent that you can see these people are looking to attack someone. And that's why everyone fled. You could all roll initiative. And it is at this point that I will remind everybody, because we haven't said it on screen just yet. My rules are, yes, you can do non-lethal damage with magic. Yes, you can do non-lethal damage if you're sneak attacking. Yes, you can do non-lethal. All of it is, if you tell me ahead of time there's non-lethal damage, it's non-lethal damage. Because you know what? If you can cast a firebolt, you can also make it not be lethal. With that, let me get some rolls from people. Cricket.
Oh, I got an 8.
All right. Justina?
7, because I'm still yelling about my corn.
I mean, that's fair. That's totally fair. Snacks are important. Wisteria?
16.
And Vint?
I got a 16 as well.
Ooh. I will let the 2 of you decide who wants to go first in this moment. Do either of you have a preference?
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think you can go first because you have more options on what you can do.
Yep.
Awesome. So you burst into this now ever widening circle of people all around these 4 farmers who have this blank stare. The 4 of these people start to lurch towards you. If if it wasn't for the fact that they look alive. They don't look like zombies. These don't look like undead. These are people. They just look like they just came right off of working the field. As you move forward and kind of take in the scene, you do hear a voice from somewhere behind you coming closer saying, please, they're probably, there's something wrong. This is not normal. This is not normal. And you can take a quick look and you see that there's, amongst most of the people who are fleeing, there is someone else, another figure who is coming forward, and you don't see them just yet, but you do hear them. And is actually one of the farmers' turns first because I had one of them roll really high. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Farmers.
Justina, you are the biggest person of the quartet, right?
Story of my life.
Yeah. And so I think because these figures don't seem to be moving with anything other than some base instinct, you're the biggest person, they come towards you. They're going to lash out with what looks like a half of a shovel, like the end portion of the shovel got cut off, and they're just holding on to the wood and the spear at the end. Does a 12 hit you?
No.
It's a slow whack. Like this is someone who's not used to attacking. Yeah. And you kind of catch it and push it off to the side. And now that you're closer, you can see the red eyes of this person just blankly staring at you, and this muddy handprint across their throat. And while you catch that spade, Vint, or actually Vint and Wisteria, who wanted to go first?
I'm gonna go first.
All right,
and
Wisteria.
I am going to take out a piece. It's wide umbels of orange, yellow, and red flowers with 5 petals and 5 sepals each. It's a butterfly weed, and I'm going to set it down on the ground, and you see vines sprout out of it as I cast Entangle.
All right. How large of an area is Entangle?
It's a 20-foot square.
Okay.
Within 90 feet.
So I'm going to say you can get 3 of the 4 of these. You can get the one in front of Ustina and 2 others. What do I got to do?
It's a strength 13 save.
All right. The one in front of Ustina actually rolls a natural 14. So they make it. Of the other 2, that's a 7. And that's a 19. 2 of these.
Regardless, it's difficult terrain.
All right. For sure.
But yeah, only one is entangled. And then as a bonus action, I will pull out a dandelion from behind my ear and over at Vint. Vint, you have a bardic inspiration die, which is a d6. And then on top of that, the little seed from the dandelion starts circling you. That is the mode of potential. You can go ahead and throw that onto an attack roll if you would like to.
And unless there's anything else you would like to do.
Oh, sorry. It depends on what you would use it for.
Okay.
All right. And Vint, it is your turn.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Can you repeat how many of these like enraged citizens are at the moment? How many can we see?
There are 4, and
okay.
You're pretty sure there's just the 4 because now enough people have fled to open up an area that, there's just the 4 of these farmers. One of them is directly in front of Ustina. The other 3 are about 10 to 15 feet back. They just haven't moved just yet. And the one in front of Ustina is entangled?
No, the one in front of Ustina saved. They got a 14.
14.
Oh, it was 14-7 something.
And
19,
the 19,
16,
so
like
so one of the others is entangled. They weren't able to quite pull themselves out of the vines.
Okay. Are there any of them that are like immediately threatening any like citizens, any non-combating citizens?
Fortunately, no. These people, whatever is going on with them, they're not moving incredibly quickly. And
Okay.
so it seems like the crowd, as soon as they realize there's people here with weapons, they ran.
Okay. Well, what I'm gonna do is that I will try to attack one of them. Well, the one that is next to Ustina, because that is basically Vince sees this person attack Ustina, and then immediately kind of like the tattoo from the back of his head ripples with energy and kind of like extends through the tattoo through his hand and forms a blade of energy that he shoots through the air. And as he soars through the air, the kind of like the energy forms like a butterfly shape and goes to try and strike this creature with psychic energy.
Sure.
Which I mean, non-lethal, and if it hits, it's more like it's set to stun. Basically,
Psychic energy, I think, would be the easiest to set to stun,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's just a static shock instead of actual pain.
right. So here's the attack roll. It is a 22.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll your non-lethal damage.
Yeah. The damage is 6 plus sneak attack because Ustina is there. That is 8, so a total of 14.
Awesome. You shoot out this knife from your abilities. Where do you hit this farmer to do the non-lethal damage?
I would say if he's trying to sort of stun and kind of like shock and kind of pacify in that way, it would hit somewhere like behind the neck or in the head, and it would be the knife would just vanish after that.
Ustina, you watch the person in front of you get hit with this psychic knife that seems to disappear. The gentleman in front of you, their expression doesn't change. They don't register any pain. Their eyes stay open and blank, and they crumple to the ground in front of you. Still breathing, but just still kind of blankly staring. Anything else, Vint?
Yeah, as a bonus action, I will look at one of the enraged farmers that kind of like made the save, and it's more toward the outside of the patch of entangled roots that Wisteria created.
Okay.
And I'm gonna make a psychic pull to bring them into like further inside the tangled roots, if that is possible. I have the telekinetic feat, which lets me do a shove to either pull or push a creature 5 feet. They have to make a saving throw, strength saving throw, dexterity.
Right.
Sorry, strength saving throw, DC 12.
They rolled an 8.
Okay,
So that's a nope.
Yeah, he just reaches
nope.
out and pulls someone telekinetically, like further into the roots.
Yeah, the one that Wisteria was not able to target is the only one that seemed to be moving in a direction not towards your group, and you yank them back into the tangled roots, and it's almost as though they slide across the ground, and now they are there. And do they have to make that save when they enter the entangle?
So once it's up, it's up. It's just that the ground becomes difficult terrain. Oh, and their save once they are entangled is on their turn. They have to use their action.
Okay. Great. So, Vint, anything else?
That's my turn.
All right. The one you just yanked into the roots is going to try to lazily pull themselves out. That's a 13. I think you said yours is a 14? Your save?
My save is a 13.
They just barely make it. It takes their entire action, but they yank their feet out and just get out of it. Cricket, it is your turn.
All right. So as soon as she sees, okay, let me get this straight. We have one that's just prone, the one that was in front of Ustina, and the other 3 are still pretty much there. Okay.
Yep, the one in front of Ustina has obviously been knocked out. It's a little creepy because their eyes are still kind of staring into nothingness, but you can tell that they are essentially knocked out.
Ugh. Okay, well, she's standing next to Ustina. As soon as like she sees this start to happen, she goes, "Ugh," and she growls, and like her hair is like this like sandy blonde color, brown, but and immediately her eyes turn bright yellow, totally wolf-like. These little hairs prickle out of her face, like on the prim of her face. So it's almost like she doesn't turn into a wolf, but she turns into a wolf like female, just like it without even like wanting to. It's like an instant reaction to her emotions. And she's going to look at all like whatever's left of these creatures and she's going to say, "Today." And when she says that, this glow comes off her body, almost like a heat thing. And it like blasts toward the ones that are still standing. And each creature of my choice that I can see must succeed in a Constitution saving throw of 13. And they take 1d6 radiant damage.
Okay, what's the, you said
Con save 13.
Con save, how many of them can you target?
Any creature, each creature of my choice, so all of them.
Okay, in any specific radius, or just you see them, you target them?
Yeah, it says it just says range, area 5 feet, casting time 1 action, duration instantaneous. I have to use a word, and the word is today.
So the radius is 5 feet from you.
Yes.
I will say you can move to a space that is within 2 of the 3 that are still up. So 2 of them will have to make this con check. The first one got an 18.
Oh, okay.
The other one got a 9.
Yes, I hit 1. One's good. Let me try it.
All right.
That's 4 damage. 4 radiant.
You watch as the one that you hit with your word stumbles a little bit, but you feel like it's not a stumble of pain. It's more of like you've almost physically pushed them a little bit with this radiant damage, but otherwise face stays blank. Anything else?
All she can do is she's just gonna leap back, almost like a wolf, back toward the group more.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah, she's just gonna leap back.
All
Wait,
right.
no, because I don't want opportunity attacks happening here. Yeah, I saw the smile on your face. No. What am I doing out here? No, you know what? I'm going to stay put. She's not scared. She's staying right where she is.
All right. You're staying right where you are. So the one that you managed to hit with your radiant attack, they've got would be a wicked looking sickle in their hand. It's rusty. It's obviously been unused for a little while, but they're going to try to hit you with it. But I don't think an 8 hits. Nah. It's once again, it's this awkward, not used to battle attack that you are easily able to duck away from. Ustina, it is your turn.
Ustina is mildly confused. Someone attacked her with a shovel. She has no corn. And everybody else is like knocking people out. So she looks at Cricket. Am I kill them?
Do it.
Okay.
Don't kill anyone.
Too late.
What are you talking about?
She runs straight towards where Cricket is. She does not rage. She's not going to waste a rage on some farmers with shovels. And she's going to run straight to the one that is near Cricket.
Okay.
And she's going to roll her eyes dramatically and pull out her sword and do the, bonk on the back of the head like Inigo Montoya.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let me roll the hit.
Sleep well and dream of large women.
Large women. I am large women.
It's rest well, not sleep well. Rest well.
It was close enough. Made us happy.
13 to hit.
13 hits. You come up and right in the back of the head. Go ahead and roll your damage.
I mean, it's only 5, but I mean.
Hey.
The irony being that's exactly how much they had left. So you, in the back, as you roll your eyes, and the same thing, this farmer, they wilt and just fall to the ground. Obviously still alive, still breathing, still now unconscious, but staring almost eerily back at you. But they are knocked out.
Is that all of them?
There's 2 left.
Okay.
2 have been knocked out, 2 are left. One of them is next to
Christina's
Cricket.
arguing with Cricket over the body. You know, she's arguing. She's like, I could have put it in my pocket.
It's disgusting. You see its eyes are open. That means something.
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the corn.
Oh,
I can't put him in my
this
pocket.
Makes sense. So I will, on the way out, we'll get some more.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Okay. As Ustina scowls about Corn, the final cultist goes. They're gonna try the strength check to get out, and they are gonna fail miserably. So the one is just still struggling to pick up their feet. At this point, the voice that you had heard earlier is now moved close enough that some of you can see. There is a woman that has pushed her way to the front of the crowd that have continued to flee in what would be kind of a gorgeous multi-hued blue dress that is very bright against her dark skin. She's got a very stylish hat on and has an incredibly serious look on her face despite the revelry that she is wearing. And she looks at all of you and says, good, yes. I don't know what's
good. This is pretty bad, actually.
No, what you're doing is good. Please knock them out. I don't know why any of them would do this, but please. And she is going to rush up to the one that was in front of Ustina that was knocked out first. And it looks like she is going to tend to that person. And we are back at the top. That one is the one she is tending to. So Wisteria, it is your turn.
All right. I'd like to do a couple of things. May I use my mini edity as my mage hand to just send that off instead? Just reflavor my mage hand to be
I love it.
My
Yes.
mini edity. I'm gonna have my mini edity try and wipe the mark off of the neck of one of the knocked out ones to see if that makes a difference in their consciousness. While that is happening, I am going to, let's see here. I am going to very, very carefully using take out a bundle that is wrapped in fabric and cautiously set it down, not touching the contents within, as you see a vine of poison ivy weave its way toward the 2 that are standing. And I am going to go ahead and cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter as they itch rather than giggle.
Interesting. Okay. What's the save they got to make?
Wisdom 13.
Wisdom 13. All right. The one rolled a 12. So this is the one next to that's closest to Cricket and Ustina. Rolled a 12. The other one rolled a 13. I'm just going to say none of these saves have any bonuses to them. These are all just straight rolls. So one of them saved, one of them failed. You said it's the poison ivy. It's instead of giggling.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. You watch as this farmer, they had been holding on to what looked like a pitchfork with one of its tines pulled off. It's kind of the only whole weapon that any of these people have. It's the only one that looks like it might have actually been cared for and used recently. They had been holding it up ready to strike at someone, and they put it back down, and you just watch as almost lazily, still not looking anywhere else and with no comprehension on their face, and they're just kind of casually scratching at their side. It has worked, just for out of play. It definitely has worked, but you do notice their.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's only one creature. It's not both.
Oh, well, we'll
Sorry.
say the one that failed because that makes life easy. But yeah, and
so
then
it is incapacitated and prone.
Okay.
For mechanical purposes. And it can save at the end of each of its turns.
Then I'm going to say it didn't start scratching its shoulder. It reached down to like lazily scratch at the bottom of its leg and then just kind of fell into onto the pavement. And it's still just there, like lazily scratching at a leg, but it is now prone. Okay. And then you said you wanted your mage hand to go try to wipe one of the marks off.
One of the markings off to see if that helps.
Okay.
And then I've already given out a thing, so I think that is all for me for now.
Okay. I'm going to say that you went after the one that you just incapacitated because that also makes my life easy. So your mage hand comes forward and wipes at their neck. Their demeanor doesn't change. It doesn't seem like removing or getting rid of or harming this mark does anything in specific to their demeanor. But now that you've smeared it and through your mage hand, I know it's not supposed to have touch, but you know what? It's fun. You can kind of almost sense it's mud. It's this thick red mud. You were kind of worried for a moment it was going to be blood because it was that color, but no, it's like someone took their hand and in mud and just slapped it across the front of these four. And with that, I believe it is Vince's turn.
Also, Ustina has not seen these dolls, so all of a sudden this possessed doll comes floating by her face. And she's just like, what?
But it's adorably dressed to look just like their Myconid.
That's worse.
Yeah.
Like,
that's Uncanny Valley, like, oh.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to say the Uncanny Valley one is Ustina's because you asked specifically for chibi and they gave it to you. Yet. So there's these big eyes on this straw doll, but that's a later story. Vint, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Yeah. So effectively there's one incapacitated and one still standing, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So I will like move quickly to pass by Ustina and give her the rest of my corn and say like, please don't hurt them. And then I go and shoot another dagger to the one that is still standing.
All right, go ahead.
Distraction corn.
19 to hit.
Wisteria has inspiration corn, Vint has distraction corn, and 19 does hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay, damage is a 9, and I'm gonna use. Oh, is that enough or?
With a 9, that is actually exactly enough. You launch your dagger, and because the other one is incapacitated, I will say, Vint, describe in detail how you dispatch of this person.
Yeah, it's very similar to the previous one. Like after handing the corn, it just like very casually flings this knife, a butterfly knife of psychic energy into this creature and kind of like flies into their spine, and it just like kind of like stuns them for a moment, and they just fall into Wisteria's vines, I just at that moment, I think since Ustina is next to the one that she kind of like bonked in the head, Vint is gonna kind of like reach down and try to examine them and see like how they're doing.
All right. Since the last one is incapacitated, I'm going to say we're out of initiative because you've got plenty of time to. It's very obvious this one is moving lazily. And if you approach while they're incapacitated, they're not trying to lash out at you. But they, once again, just that glazed over, nothing look in their red eyes and that awful mud handprint. Vint, go ahead and give me a investigation check.
I'm gonna use Wisteria's inspiration here. I do need it. I rolled a 6.
Okay, so you can add a d6, and then on top of that, you get to you can re-roll the whatever your bardic inspiration roll is, and then pick which one you would like to use.
Awesome. Choose the better of the two. Okay. So one is a 4 and the other one is a 4. Okay. Well, it is a
Consistent.
total of
It's a
10.
difficult choice there.
Yeah.
All right. With a 10, you kneel down and roll this person onto their back. They're still blindly staring. It's a little unnerving, but you see their breathing is steady. They don't seem to be injured in any specific way. You see some cuts and bruises, but nothing that can't be explained from normal day-to-day work in a farm. They are in very simple farming attire. And go ahead and roll me a history check with disadvantage.
Yeah. How do I do this advantage in D&D Beyond? Do I just roll twice?
If you
If
you
you-
right click, you get a
Oh.
menu and you can select.
Yep.
Awesome. 9.
Okay. You're not sure you recognize specifically the attire, but they're just obviously a farmer. The only other thing that you notice is this one that you've come up to. In their one hand, they were holding on to their weapon. In the other, their fist is balled. But now that they are essentially unconscious, it's come a little loose. And at first you had thought they were going to try to punch somebody, but they're actually holding something in their hand, a crumpled piece of paper. And when you pull it free and spread it out, it is a charcoal sketch, a rather nice one, actually. Simple, but very clean, despite the fact that it's been crumpled. It was a good enough sketch that you can still see it's a disturbing drawing. There's what looks like a pool of water, and at the edge there is a figure reaching towards another figure, obviously drowning in the water. And the water looks odd, but you can't quite put your finger on it. In this moment, what are the rest of you doing?
Go ahead.
Okay, so can we be, I guess, looking at like the ones that are on the ground or the other creatures that are okay? Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
If there's one on the ground, Cricket just wants to be sort of touching it because she can tell it's alive, but she's turned back to completely human form, and she's just touching it because she wants to see if I don't know, like sensing evil or good. Sort of. I mean, she's just trying to see if maybe it's possessed, because at this point, I don't think there was a call for a rusted tool farmer performance here at the festival. So
I mean, the brass
presence of-
band really ran away from this if this was the performance.
I mean, this is a
going
very
on.
strange version of the running of the bulls.
I know.
Very slow. Go ahead and give me either an Arcana or Religion check.
Yay, red dice. Oh Lord, that would be a 2.
Mm.
Yeah,
I mean, their eyes have this red sheen to them. Maybe it's just because these people seem to be unblinking. Maybe they just need some Visine. You're unsure. Ustina?
Christina.
I mean, I'll give you a guess as to what Ustina is doing. It involves corn.
Okay.
But while she's eating the corn, she does kind of prod one of them with her foot and like give him a good once over. So would you want perception or investigation?
When you say once over, what are you specifically looking for?
More corn.
That's well, I mean, like
Then do not encourage her.
they came running, like these are farmers that came running at people who were obviously a little more well armed than them. It's not exactly hidden. And so I'm going to use my background and knowledge of things that can, happen to people in forests and such to see if he's got like a disease of any kind that I recognize.
Ooh, all right. Go ahead and give me either an Arcana or religion check, but
Oh,
give
good.
it to me
I'm
with
so good at both of them.
But I'll give it to you at advantage because how you're using your background.
Okay, it's a straight 20. I'm going to use my real dice. See if
Go
I
for
can
it.
Yay.
The doggy is here to help.
He is. You can't eat that, bud. 15.
You push this person kind of off onto their side and you're examining them. And there's something about the way they are staring, the blankness of their face. This is someone who is being magically controlled. You're not exactly sure how because you don't really practice the arcane, but you can see the signs.
Mm-hmm. I've been around enough people who do, in other words.
You've been in enough battles with people who are in various states that you recognize, if not how, what is going on. And as you're realizing this, Wisteria, what are you doing?
I'd like to talk to the person in the blue outfit with the hat.
That's great because she is arriving right now. Essentially, she's going to arrive exactly after you finish. So as you turn, she sees that the rest of you are examining people and she runs up to you, Wisteria, and says, "Oh, I am so glad that you were here. This would have been a disaster. These poor farmers. What happened to them?"
I don't know. We just got here.
We got here,
we got snacks and we got dolls and we were enjoying the festival and then everyone was running and there was a lot of screaming but I'm sorry, who are you? I'm Wisteria. These are my friends, Cricket, Justina, and Vint.
Oh.
Yes, my apologies. I have completely lost all of my manners in the chaos of what just happened. She pulls off her hat and holds it to her chest, almost giving you a little bit of an ostentatious bow. And she says, "My name is Lady Dre, and it is my honor to thank you for what you did here. I am really unsure if you weren't here, people would have definitely been hurt. And I appreciate that you knocked these poor people out. They're from the Rattle. They must have come a very long way."
Are they aberrations of some sort? What, have you ever seen anything like this before here at the festival?
No, absolutely not. This is usually a joyous occasion and there's weird things going on.
I'm sorry, we're new here. What's the Rattle?
Oh, I should find you a proclaimer to give you a little bit of history.
We're actually looking for a proclaimer. We're looking for Tungsten.
You know Proclaimer Ward.
I mean, we've been referred to them, but we haven't actually met them yet. So,
Proclaimer Tungsten Ward. I know exactly who they are, but one thing at a time. And she's going to walk up to the one that Usina is looking over and kind of takes in the blank eyes, the stare, and says, "I've never seen anything like this before. This is horrific." And
how far away is the Rattle?
The nearest settlements are half a day by foot, maybe a little bit closer. If you hopped in my wagon, because I think you're going to go check this out, aren't you? Because I'm going to go check this out.
That's a very big assumption. I don't know you. She's going to look at Cricket and and just be like, them.
Yeah.
Somebody's controlling them. And if they didn't come with them, they've got to be pretty powerful if it's half a day away. And their spell is still holding.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. So you're saying she turns to Lady Dre. So you're saying you've never seen anything like this before, but strange things have been happening recently, yes?
Recently as in the last couple of months, certainly nothing like this. And as she's talking, Vint, you're out to do something and someone's coming towards you, actually.
while they are talking, and I hear about strange things happening, I just like stand up and extend the drawing, and I say, Lady Dre, does this seem familiar to you?
She looks over at it, and I'm going to roll something real quick.
Oh.
As she looks at it, she squints at the drawing, and what's happening is now that people have realized that the danger has passed and that these people have been subdued, people are starting to return and crowd around, and you hear scattering bits of information of whispers of people horrified by what has happened, glad that these people are okay, worried about what has happened. You hear a couple other people confirming, I'm pretty sure they came from the rattle. I thought I recognized them. And as you hold this up to Lady Dre, she gives it a look, and as she starts to shake her head no, there's a gasp from the crowd behind her. And another woman comes forward, concern on her face, and she walks up to you with a shaking hand and says, "May I?"
I give her the drawing.
She takes it and looks over it, and you see tears start to stream down her face. And she says, This is from Kiana. This is hers. I would know my goddaughter's drawings anywhere. Oh, what?
Wait a minute. Your goddaughter's drawings, you say this is?
Yes. And she holds the piece of paper up to you with the charcoal drawing on it. She's out at the rattle trying to help make a living, but she's always had a bit of an artistic bent, and this is absolutely hers. And I recognize, no, that's and she starts to go towards the 4 other people and starts to name them off. She knows who these people are.
Oh.
And Lady Dre comes up to all of you and says, that's Aunt Deli. Her goddaughter, Kiana, is from the rattle, from a farmstead, one of the closer ones, one of the ones that would be about a half a day away. This is very worrying.
Why would this farmer automaton have a drawing from your goddaughter? This makes no sense.
And she stands from where she's been looking at one of these farmers that she knows and says, I don't know, but now seeing what has happened to these people, you have to go. You have to go see what's going on. This is horrific. I know that there was talk of horrible things happening at the rattle, but if this is what is occurring, please, obviously you are the people of the adventuring sort. We get a couple of them from the Radiant Citadel. You must be from there, right?
Yes, but does your goddaughter usually draw things that are so frightening?
She's had a very hard life, and she's been trying to do better. So some of what she draws, yes, is a little morose, absolutely. And she shows it to you. And Wisteria, give me a investigation check.
Okay. That's a 4.
You see kind of the same things that Vint has. It's a very sad scene of someone apparently watching someone else drown in the lake.
Wait a minute. Wait a second here. And Cricket's going to just peer closer at the drawing. Wisteria, could this be that the goddaughter is just drawing something she's witnessed?
I don't know. I've never met her.
Well,
apparently she's
take
had
a guess or something. We have to figure something out. All right.
She
This is
might
very
have.
disturbing.
That's why I just asked.
She might have dreamed it.
What's been?
Well, whatever has happened, whether she's involved in this or caught up in this or a victim of this, please, Aunt Deli starts to reach into her pockets and pull out a purse, and you see other people from the town coming forward as she pulls out some gold and says, I will happily, whatever I can spare if you would go, please.
That's not necessary. Don't, it's fine. We're here. We can help.
Actually, it is. I mean, on my end, at least, I'll be glad to take 1 gold, symbolic, of course. The Court of Whispers needs to be contracted. It is a formality, but I am interested in this happening.
You hear another voice speak up as you say that, a low melodic voice that says, I am also interested in finding out what has happened. And you turn and you see a figure in what has been pointed out to you now, or explained to you as proclaimer garb, this gentle blues and purples, kind of a very utilitarian slacks and a jerkin. They've got a satchel over one side and they're holding onto a walking stick. They look serious and concerned, but you can see there's a little bit of a friendly smile on their face. And they look around at everything and say, yes, this is definitely something that I would need to look into. And it sounds like you were looking for me. I'm Proclaimer Tungsten Ward. How can I be of service to you as you are being of service to us?
Oh, the Jasper Tree sent us to find you.
And it's with that we will pause. and the next time we get together, we'll find out if y'all are going to go see what's going on with Kiana's family, farmers, what's been going on.
Oh my God.
That's been, I gotta say, I warned everybody ahead of time that this may go in a slightly darker direction, and then D&D happened, and I'm totally here for it. I'm totally here for it. All right. In the couple of minutes that we have left, I want to give everyone a chance to introduce themselves again and tell people where they can find you. And we'll go in the same order we did last time.
Excellent. Hey, everybody. I'm Alicia Marie. You can find me on all socials across the web at Alicia Marie Body. I make costumes. I do geeky things. I play in a lot of RPGs. If you follow me on socials, you can find me and what I'm doing.
I'm Jen Kretschmer. You can find me on Twitter as @DreamWisp. You can find me streaming on Twitch as DreamWispJen. Mondays I stream on my own channel. Tuesdays I am on Children of Erte with Lauren and Alicia over on Demiplane's channel at 6 p.m. Pacific. Wednesdays I am on Vampire the Nightlife over on Renegade's channel, play Renegade. And then Fridays I am here playing this with all of these lovely people. And yeah, just you can find out more about my work and what I do over on those places.
Hi again, I am Kelly, the Opera Geek. You can find me everywhere at the Opera Geek. Obviously, I'm here on Fridays or you wouldn't be here. Sunday, it's not Tuesday. Oh God. Sundays and Tuesdays, I do stream on my own channel. We're currently playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I am gearing up for the MS Society's inaugural tabletop fundraising weekend, which is going to be the 26th to the 28th, and is going to feature some really amazing people, at least one of whom will be Doug Cockle, returning to play Geralt in one of the Witcher games, and me DMing for the first time publicly. We're not going to talk about it.
No, we're going to talk about it. It's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome.
But yeah, other than that, just here playing with these amazing people, and I feel really lucky to be part of a cast that lets me be as ridiculous as I've been.
Oh, it's my turn. Hi.
It is.
Yeah. I am Mario. You can find me on the internet as Hilarious. I am a writer. Most recently, I obviously worked on this beautiful book that we're playing. I'm working currently with MCDM on their upcoming book, Flea Immortals, Making Monsters, and they're going to be very cool. And I also have a couple articles coming up in Arcadia. So if you like just D&D stuff in general, you can follow me on Twitter, and I sometimes stream on Twitch. But when I do that, I usually do so in Spanish. So, I mean, if you want to hear me do that, yeah, come find me at El Warriors there as well.
And I'm Lauren Urban. I've been honored to be your DM for this evening. And for all of these wonderful, wonderful people, I would like to take a moment to thank our producers, because we get to play without having to worry about producing this show. And that is a blessing that I cannot overstate how wonderful it is. So thank you so much to our producers. Thank you to everybody in chat for hanging out with us. And we will see you next week. But, you know, wherever you are in the universe, we hope we have brought the joy of the Radiant Citadel to you. Huh?